Coming up next on Newswatch.
WOUB looks into the power of the Hispanic vote in the presidential election. And the UK prepares for a highly likely attack from ISIS.
And in sports, high school basketball is coming down to the wire. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Ohio's upcoming primary is being seen as an opportunity to make Hispanic concerns known. Good evening, I'm Catherine Blaine. Thank you for joining us. While Hispanics in Athens represent a minority of voters, they do hold significance statewide. And nationwide, they're one of the fastest growing groups in America. WOUB Christina Sicard explains why that fact has this group of voters feeling more empowered than ever before.
Like snowflakes, no turnout for an election is ever alike. In the last census, Latinos became the fastest growing ethnic group in the United States, making up nearly a quarter of the population. Although still a minority, Hispanics are predicted to become the majority by 2044.
We've been what I have often called a disenfranchised community, and we've lacked a lot of the political strength and political clout for quite some time. We have been underrepresented in many ways, one of which is education. And for the first time in this country, in the history of this country, we have two candidates who are Latinos.
It's not a large Hispanic population here at Ohio University, but people like Dr. Alicia, who work at the Multicultural Center, believe now is a prime time for Hispanics to be heard.
Latinos have been politically active, but in the past they have not voted in large numbers, feeling underrepresented.
There's also been a lot of sense of we're not really, our vote won't count. It's only, it's only this, or they don't listen anyway, so what's the point? So it's sort of a demoralized, defeatist kind of, sense of feeling like, why even bother? It isn't going to make any difference. But that's changed a lot.
The president of the Hispanic and Latino Student Union at Ohio University thinks Latinos need to get out there and vote.
If we don't go out and vote, then it's just going to set us back. I feel like Latinos in the United States have accomplished many things, and then just not going out and vote and then having other people decide for us is just going to set us back.
At times, Triana says she finds Athens County uncomfortable.
It's very challenging to be a minority here at Ohio University because me as a Latina, I feel like there isn't this place where I fit in 100%.
Well, thank you, Christina. Moving on now to more local news. A Meigs County man is being investigated after allegedly setting fire to his own home. Officers arrested Dennis Persons late last week when police say he confessed to starting the fire but did not give a motive. There were two other people in the home at the time. One victim received burns to his body and is in the hospital. A second victim escaped the home and was not injured. An Athens School District levy will appear on primary ballots once again. The levy has passed 4 times since it was first on the ballot in 1991. Last November, the Athens School Board voted to ask for a renewal of the levy. If renewed, the 5-year permanent improvement levy will give nearly $1.5 million for district improvements each year. The money from the levy is used to purchase things like school buses. School board officials expect that the levy will pass next Tuesday. The Ohio State Auditor awarded federal Hawking local schools with a clean audit. The award recognizes timely financial reports with no significant deficiencies or questioned costs. It also means there were no ethical questions about FedHawk's financial records. Superintendent George Wood noted the award was a turnaround for the district since it was a fiscal emergency years ago. Athens County is working to count the number of homeless people in the area. Each year, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, requires a count of each in the community. This year, the Athens County Housing Coalition decided to do a survey of their own.
HUD wants us to count people who are what we know as HUD homeless, which is sleeping in a place not meant for human habitation, which we just don't have many of in Athens County. But that low number just does not tell the story.
The results showed that 16 adults and 6 children were unsheltered and homeless, while 19 adults and 11 children were staying in shelters on the night of January 26th. For the same night, the survey results showed that 35 adults and 9 children were staying in a home that was not their own due to housing instability. The wood products business adds billions to Ohio's economy each year, $22 billion to be exact. But some think that number could be higher. The U.S. Small Business Administration is putting $2.5 million, toward the Forest Products Innovation Cluster Initiative. The plan is to bolster the region's wood products enterprises, such as sawmills, millwork, and furniture manufacturing. The Ohio University Board of Trustees is set for its meeting on Friday to present the 2016 Comprehensive Master Plan. The main points of the plan include building a new complex for Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine and developing the Ridges into an office building. The Board of Trustees will also discuss the demolition of the back South Green. This will leave more room for new dorms and recreation space. The plan also aims to redevelop Park Place to become a pedestrian corridor. The City of Athens will need to approve any changes to the traffic flow.
Good evening, I'm Adriana Davies, and as we felt last week, it was rather chilly around our area, but this week we'll definitely see a warm up as we felt today for our region. It was around 64 degrees with partly cloudy skies. And moving into our right now around the region, we see 63 in Athens, 64 in New Lexington, 63 up in Newark, and our high around the region in Ironton at 64. And moving into our overnight lows, we'll see temperatures sitting around the mid-50s as we see 8 p.m., partly cloudy skies, 56 degrees. Moving into the midnight hour, we'll see a slight decrease at 52 degrees, and as we move into the early morning hours, we'll see 50 degrees. Now over to you, Catherine.
All right, thank you, Adriana. I look forward to seeing you later on in our program. And in other weather-related news, there has been a steep increase in earthquakes in Oklahoma. The number of earthquakes with a magnitude of 3.0 or greater has skyrocketed from a few dozen in 2012 to more than 900 last year. State regulators are asking oil and gas producers to restrict wastewater disposal operations to help temper the ground. This covers over 400 wells across the state. The Oklahoma Corporation Commission says the new cuts should reduce disposal volumes by 40% from 2014 levels. A coal company is considering surface mining an area in northern Trimble. A Johnson Run Road couple is voicing concern about how it would impact the road they live on. Everest and Joanne Holmes say they own 300 acres on Johnson Run Road, but do not own the coal under the property. Everett said the mining could disrupt a water line along the road, while Joanne expresses concern about fire department and emergency medical service access. Check into WOUB.org for the latest updates on the coal company's decision. And the amount of fracking in Ohio increased by more than 15% in 2015. Injection wells pump wastewater from oil and gas drilling deep inside the earth, and some wells in Ohio have been linked to earthquakes. Ohio typically takes more fracking wastewater from outside Ohio than within the state, but the latest data shows that about 55% of 2015's wastewater came from Ohio. Authorities are investigating the death of a man who died while panning for gold. Officials found Jeremy Potnick on the edge of a western Pennsylvania creek. Potnick was pronounced dead at the scene, and an autopsy is scheduled to determine the cause of death. And police are looking for a man who stole almost $600 from a Girl Scout troop. Troop 2439 was in Canal Winchester on Sunday. The troop was raising money for an upcoming trip to Tennessee. A GoFundMe account has been set up for the troop and is almost at $700. If you have any information, please contact the Canal Winchester Police Department. And now after the break, who is the latest state politician to endorse presidential candidate John Kasich? We had that, plus the mayor of Flint, Michigan reveals just how much money the city needs for repairs. That's what's coming up next on Newswatch.
Really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
The president of Mexico says Donald Trump's comments hurt U.S.-Mexico relations. Trump has pledged to build a wall along the two countries' borders. Trump also says Mexican immigrants bring crime and drugs to the U.S. President Peña Nieto says, quote, "It appears to me that hurt the relationship we have, and it sought with the U.S., but the Mexican president says his country will try to work with whoever is elected president of the United States." And former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger took to Snapchat Sunday to announce his support for presidential candidate John Kasich. Schwarzenegger says that he thinks Kasich has kept the American dream alive in Ohio.
I want John Kasich to be the next nominee of the Republicans and also to be the next president of the United States. Here he is.
Thank you, Arnold. Love you, man.
This is the first high-profile Snapchat endorsement of the election. The endorsement comes before Michigan's primary tomorrow and the Ohio primary next Tuesday. Kasich will be back in Ohio to campaign on Sunday. And the mayor of Flint says that they've been asking for $1 billion to solve the city's water crisis. Karen Weaver says they think the state should dip into its rainy day fund and the federal government should also fork over money. The crisis erupted when the city's water source was temporarily switched in April 14 to cut costs. During that time, lead got into the city's water supply. Mayor Weaver dismissed the argument that because it was a man-made disaster, only the state should pay.
The citizens in Flint had nothing to do with this decision to switch to the Flint River and not have it treated, but we're suffering the consequences. And at some point, we need people to just step up and, recognize that we're American citizens and we should not have to live like this. Our kids and our families have been poisoned, and we need to be responsible for that.
During last night's debate, both Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders called on Michigan's governor to resign. Mayor Weaver said whoever is responsible should be held responsible, but right now she needs the governor to give Flint money to replace the pipes. British police are preparing for a, quote, enormous and spectacular potential attack on the UK as ISIS moves into its next natural phase. That's according to Britain's senior counterterrorism officer. In the wake of the Paris attacks, he says ISIS has moved from a narrow of focus on police and military as symbols of the state to something much broader. Mark Raleigh of the London Police Department made comments at a weekly briefing and later expanded on his comments to CNN. He said he was speaking about a general threat profile and not on specific intelligence on a known terror plot. The current threat level for international terrorism in the UK remains severe, meaning an attack is, quote, highly likely. And Mayor Bill de Blasio has signed an order saying people visiting New York City facilities must be able to use restrooms or locker rooms consistent with their gender identity. The order says people must have access to single-sex facilities consistent with their gender identity at city facilities, including offices, parks, pools, and recreation centers. No identification or proof of gender would be required. De Blasio says that every New Yorker should feel safe and welcome, and that starts with city buildings. And on Wall Street today, the major averages began their week on a flat note. Take a look at some stocks of local interest. The man credited with inventing the email has died. His legacy still ahead.
So up next on Newswatch, we have warmer weather on the way with rain coming. Up next with my extended forecast.
Nestled in the heart of the Hocking Valley sits a town with a story. A story carved from mountains of coal, mixed with a little clay and sprinkled with a dash of culture. It's a story of national significance and local pride. A story rooted in the past that's still being written today. Join WOUB on March 19th at Nelsonville York High School for the premiere of Our Town, Nelsonville.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Adriana Davies, and right now in Athens, it's around our high for today at 63 degrees, which is way above normal for this time of the year. We see 28 degrees as our low, which is right around average, where normally it's 30 degrees, but our sunset today right around 6:27. As we look at our precipcast for tonight, we're going to stay relatively dry until we move throughout the week with the low pressure system in the middle of the United States. But as we move into tomorrow, we see that begin to shift into our region. We'll start to see a little bit of rain tomorrow as we move into Wednesday and Thursday a little more. So our overnight lows for our region, we see 46, not 64, degrees in Athens, 46 degrees down in Ironton, and 46 degrees up in Newark as well. We see our high at 48 degrees in Ripley with partly cloudy skies throughout our region. Tomorrow, we will be in the low 70s, which is awesome for this time of the year. We see 73 degrees in Athens as our high tomorrow. Same with down in Ironton, and 72 up in Columbus with partly cloudy skies throughout the region. Tonight in Athens, it's going to stay relatively warm for this time of the year. As we see 46 degrees with partly cloudy skies, calm winds, a little bit of cloudy, but if you're out and about, you're going to need a jacket on your way home from classes. As we move into the bus stop tomorrow morning, we're going to see 47 degrees with partly cloudy skies, mainly calm, so again, you're going to need a jacket just in case. But hour by hour, we'll see the day start to warm up. 50 degrees at 8 a.m. Around noon, we'll see 63 and 71 at 4 p.m. with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, 73 as our high, mostly sunny. And as our extended forecast, we're going to see a beautiful week ahead with a little bit of rain heading in towards the middle of the week as we hit to the weekend. 74 as our high on Wednesday with rain as we move throughout the weekend. That'll bring a little bit of cooler temperatures. And over to you, Catherine.
All right, thank you so much, Adriana. The man credited for inventing modern email has died. His employer, Raytheon, says Ray Tomlinson passed away at the age of 74. He devised direct email messages in 1971 while he worked for a technology firm in Boston. That was a new idea back then, and not many people had access to computers. So his invention didn't take off until the explosion of PCs and online services in the late 80s and early 90s. Tomlinson is also widely credited for making the @ sign. He was inducted into the Internet Hall of Fame in 2012.
How is everybody doing tonight? I am Joe Fracasso, and coming up in sports, we take a look at what Ohio men's and women's players were made the All-MAC selections. But before that, before we look at those lists, we check in on how the remaining TVC teams are doing in the playoffs. This and more coming up right after this. And make sure to stay tuned to WOUB this evening. Here's a look at what's coming up on your local public station.
Body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
Welcome back. I'm Joe Fracasso. Both the boys and girls high school tournaments are heading down the stretch run, and there are 2 boys TVC teams left and 1 girls TVC team left. First up, we look at the guys side of the tournament. The lone Division II TVC team left is the Vinton County Vikings. This past Friday, the Vikings beat Fairfield Union 53-46. Vinton County now has a matchup against powerhouse John Glenn after the Muskies beat Indiana Valley 82-43. Tip-off of this game is at 8 p.m. on Thursday at the Convo. Moving to Division 4, the Trimble Tomcats are still fighting as well after beating Waterford 78-68 last Saturday. Trimble now shifts its focus to Afrocentric on Tuesday at 6:15, also at the Convo. Moving over to the girls' side of the postseason, the lone TVC team left standing is the Waterford Lady Wildcats, who beat FCA 70-38 on Saturday in the regional finals. The Lady Wildcats now have a trip to Columbus on Friday as they play Willoughby in the state semifinals at 1 p.m. at the Shot. Moving on from the high school level to the collegiate level, this afternoon the MAC released its all-MAC, all-freshman, and all-defensive teams for both men's and women's basketball. First, looking at the men's side, the lone Bobcat on the all-MAC team was center Antonio Campbell, who led Ohio in scoring and rebounding with 17.5 points and 10 rebounds per game. The only other Bobcat on the all-MAC team was Jerron Simmons, who made the all-MAC second team, while Jordan Dardis made the all-freshman team. Moving over to the women's side, senior guard Kiana Black was honored with an all-MAC first-team selection after averaging 18.4 points per game, which led the team in scoring. Senior guard Kiara Lampkins was honored with all-MAC second-team selection, and senior forward Lexi Baldwin was an all-MAC honorable mention. Lampkins was also placed on the all-MAC defensive team and won Defensive Player of the Year. She finished the year with 29 blocks and 30 steals. Also on the all-defensive team was junior forward Jasmine Weatherspoon. While the men and women's teams were receiving awards this morning from the MAC offices in Cleveland, the wrestling team was also up in the land this past weekend for the MAC tournament. While there, 5 Bobcats are in automatic bids to the NCAA championships in New York, which will take place March 17th through the 19th. The 5 Bobcats are Cameron Kelly, Sparta Chino, Austin Reese, Phil Wellington, and Cody Walters. The only senior not to earn an automatic bid was Andrew Manchik, who finished second behind Joe Ariola of Buffalo. Now wrestling season is nearing an end, while the Ohio baseball season is just getting started. This past weekend, the Bobcats headed down to Spartanburg, South Carolina to take on the Wofford Terriers. Ohio dropped 3 of the 4 games despite outscoring Wofford 27-19. 16 of those runs, however, came in the lone win for the Bobcats. In the last game on Sunday, Tom Coletti blew the save in the bottom of the 11th and gave up the winning run on a wild pitch. Now Ohio will look back to bounce back next week with their first home series of the year against IPFW. And then finally, the baseball team was struggling this past weekend, and the Ohio softball team didn't perform much better. They faced off in the Texas Tech Invitational in Lubbock, Texas, and came away with wins against Texas Tech 6-2 and UTSA 8-5. However, in the first 3 games of the Invitational, Ohio lost 8-4 to McNeese State, 3-1 to Stephen F. Austin, and 7-1 to Texas Tech. The Bobcats next play in the Indiana Classic next weekend. I'm Joe Fracasso. That's it for sports. Back to you, Catherine.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. And it helps us to get going in the morning until we've had our morning coffee, that is. How about a shout out for cereal? Today is National Cereal Day. 49% of Americans start their day with a bowl or 2, that's always me, of cereal. That's according to nationalcerealday.com. 2.7 billion boxes of cereal were sold every year. That's enough to wrap around the earth 13 times. All right, let's take it over to Adriana Davies for a final look at weather.
Welcome back. I'm Adriana Davies, and tonight in Athens, we're going to see a little bit of chilly temperatures at 46 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Calm winds, though, but if you're out, you're going to need a jacket. And moving into tomorrow, our high, it's going to be beautiful. We're going to see 73 degrees in March, I know. With partly cloudy skies, it's going to be very, very warm with winds from the south at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And for my extended forecast, we'll see it definitely is going to be very warm for this weekend. And as we move into next week, we'll see a little bit of rain, which will bring cooler temperatures. Over to you, Catherine.
All right, thanks a lot. I'm definitely looking forward to that warmer weather. Can't wait. But that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Catherine Blaine. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime you need at WOUB.org. And as always, make sure to have a great night.
What's happening, TVC basketball fans? My name is Sean Neidig, the host of Hardwood Heroes. Hardwood Heroes is a weekly half-hour show that airs on WOUB at 11 Sunday night and again at 6 on Monday. We provide you with the best Southeastern Ohio high school basketball coverage in the area, both on our show and on the web. Our reporters are at over 20 games every week to recap, so there is no way you can miss